Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel or welcome to my channel. If this is your first time checking in with me, I really appreciate that. Listen, today is Wednesday and that means I have a video series called Wisdom on Wednesdays, which started out as Way Out Wednesdays. So basically the acronym is WOW WOW. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're going to be talking about flunking. I mean, look, this video is brought to you by my spirit guides because frankly, Virgos don't talk about flunking. We don't talk about making mistakes because we don't make mistakes. Okay. So this is going to be a challenging video for me to talk about, but I have some notes here that they gave me. And they are saying that flunking is learning. So what we're going to be talking about today is our soul growth, right? We come here to this planet which is dualistic, which is up, down, right, wrong, good, bad. I mean, it's all about these extremes, right? Hot, cold, even the hemispheres are opposite, right? They're saying. So we come to this planet where we have a lot of opportunity to really flub up, to really flunk, to really make mistakes. And believe it or not, we chose this place. Again, check your ticket. If you thought you were going to a different place, you clicked the wrong box. You are on planet Earth. This is a learning planet. So we're going to be doing some learning. So the spirit guides want me to talk to you, and I am channeling this. It's about 60% at the moment. Spirit guides, your mileage may vary, but they want to talk about flunking because here's the thing, right? They want to talk about wounds, soul wound. We all have a soul wound. All of us, they're showing me a baby. We come into this life kind of, innocent and perfect and vulnerable, right? But we are bringing with us, our soul is used. You didn't get a new soul. You got a used soul. Your soul's got mileage on it. The tires have been kicked. It's got dents in it. It might have been in an accident or two, right? It might have had to have been rehabilitated. So you bringing this soul from many other lifetimes, some of them on earth, maybe hundreds of them on earth, but maybe some of them from other existences. And I've done a lot of videos about this, about star seeds, about old souls. Matter of fact, I've done a lot of videos about everything because these spirit guides won't shut the hell up. But anyway, here we are. I feel like I'm doing my job. This is my job. I often say I just work here. So your soul is in this baby body. Now, what's interesting is, and I'm going to be having a video tomorrow with an interview with a woman who does QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, which is, we're going to be talking about why do we choose to come here, because she puts you in hypnotic state. And then she regresses you back to the time when you were planning the lifetime, and also helps you understand why you chose that particular lifetime. What were you trying to learn? Which brings us to this point of soul wound. Yes, dear one, you chose to come here and you're probably bringing some soul sort of detritus or soul wounds or unfinished business, let's just say. Your soul might have unfinished business from its previous incarnations. And here you are in this baby body, in this innocent baby body, which has chosen parents for some reason, right? It's chosen to be female, male, or something that it'll decide to change later. It chose a particular race, a culture, a particular type of country or city to be born in. And it certainly chose your particular birth date, which comes with all of your numerology and your astrology. So yes, you planned all of this. You really did plan all of this. And I know I've said it many times, when I get back and I meet my higher self, I'm going to have some words to say to that person. But of course, when I get back, I'll know why I planned it. And I'll be like, oh, shoot, that's what happened. So let's talk about flunking and failing. Oh, it's such a comfortable topic, isn't it? Like, those of you that are still watching are brave souls. So because it's really important. We're never going to learn if we don't make mistakes. And right now, the spirit guides are showing me you as a baby walking, crawling, and then falling down, and repeat, and pulling things off the table, and getting the skinned knee when you're, running or riding your bike or skateboarding or whatever it is you're doing. Those are mistakes. When we're children, when we're young adults, we're allowed to make mistakes. But boy, when we become adults, all of a sudden we enter the no mistake land, right? Like, you should know better land. Aren't you old enough to know better? Right? So these types of things get embedded in our psyche. And then we stop giving ourselves grace. We stop giving ourselves the ability to say, wow, that was a mistake. Let me fix it. Let me apologize for it. Let me own it. But then let me give myself grace, because I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes because I'm here to make mistakes. If we say that we're here to grow, if we say Earth is a learning planet, then you have to understand that mistakes are going to be part and parcel of that growth, of that learning. So the spirit guides would like to talk about how to give ourselves grace when we make a mistake, and that mistakes, we have to be the ones to give ourselves grace, right? If we're expecting our partners, our parents, our kids, society, our bosses, our siblings, our friends to say, it's okay, Susan, that was just a mistake, it's okay, then we're not giving it to ourselves. And that means that when someone does tell you it's okay, it was just a mistake, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to accept it. And you're not going to own that. You're going to say, yes, but I should have known better. Yes, but I should have caught it earlier. Yes, but I've screwed this thing up and now everybody is going to be let down. Right? So what are you doing when you say that? You're giving your power away to everybody else. You're the judge, the jury, and the executioner all of yourself. You don't know for sure that everybody's going to blame you. And we know this. We know that we know this from like celebrities, right? We know this from politicians. We know this from people in the public eye, that if you own your mistake, if you just come right out and say, I made a mistake and I've learned from my mistake, or I'm learning from my mistake, or now I understand why what I said, did, whatever was wrong. I get it. I apologize. I'm sorry. We know that when people do that, when they come clean, they're instantly forgiven. You really can't hold it against somebody who says, mea culpa, I did it. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. You know what that does? That triggers compassion in other humans. And if it doesn't trigger compassion in them, they're a sociopath and a narcissist, and duly noted, will not have anything to do with them or will not care about what they say, because they're not really coming at this from their full, authentic heart space. They're coming at this from a twisted, either a diagnosis or some other heart space that they just can't, no matter what, cannot be compassionate. Therefore, you're not going to expect it from them, right? But you for sure are going to expect it from you. So we want to, the spirit guides want to help us all. And if you follow Numbers 11:11, the spirit guides want to help us all be more gentle with ourselves, because they're saying that the earth, this is going to be a video that's going to kind of cover a couple of different topics, and they're going to weave it all together the way they do. But the earth is ascending. The earth vibration is ascending. It's not waiting for anybody. And that means that's not pejorative. That's not a punishment. it's not waiting for flora or fauna either. It's called evolution, right? The ice age came and the flora and fauna either adjusted or exited stage right. So the earth is ascending, and we're all going to be asked to ascend with it, to evolve with it. And what does that mean? I mean, basically, the earth's vibration is rising, is rising up. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, we're killing her. And no, I beg to differ. We are being 100% jerks on this planet, for sure. Humans have not stewarded the planet Earth very well. That is 100% true. And we could be doing a lot better. That's 100% true. However, Earth herself can replicate herself and evolve around, she's also reacting to what we're doing to her. We see that every day with the crazy weather that we experience, right? I'm not worried about planet Earth. I'm a little worried about humans, not worried about planet Earth, because she will push us through climate change. She will push us into more concentrated areas that are safe. And humans will learn to deal with that because we will evolve. Okay. All of this whole message is about making mistakes and evolving. Humans making some big mistakes right now, and how we are treating our planet and our environment. That's a mistake we're making, and we're going to learn from it. Believe me, we will learn from it one way or another. We'll get the message and we'll evolve. So in this way, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to just make stupid mistakes. We're going to make preventable mistakes. The worst kind of mistake is a preventable mistake, right? But you know what? We're learning too. We're evolving too. You have to sometimes touch the hot stove and get the owie to understand what it means. If somebody says that stove is hot, you don't have any idea what that means. If you've never been burned or never felt heat, you don't know what that means. We have to experience it. And then we have to learn about our mistake of touching that hot stove. And then we have to decide, will I do that again? Okay. So we're in this process of learning from Mother Earth. And we are learning, believe me. I really, when I talk about the planet, and I am channeling this, and Susan would feel probably different about this, but when I talk about the planet, when I'm in her energy, you guys, we are, and I've said this on many videos, we are nothing but a gnat on her backside. She is way more powerful than us. Okay. She will put us in our place. And that will, again, give us more lessons to learn. Now, what they were starting to say before I had to go off on this tangent about Mother Earth is that humans, they feel that humans are getting stuck. That's very interesting. But anyway, they feel humans are struggling with this wound that we have. And you can call the wound anything you want because there's so many of them, right? It could be a wound of classism where the haves have really locked up everything and everybody else has nothing. You could say the wound is around race relations. You could say, and on both sides, right? I mean, for sure, right? Like if you've been on the other end of racism, if you've had, racism against you, well, then you feel some kind of way back, right? Which is perfectly understandable. It's tense, it's not an easy situation. And they're saying about, Native Americans or Native peoples, wherever you are, or cultures that are discriminated against. Any type, those are all wounds. Those are all wounds for both sides, for the power side, for the side that feels that they don't have the power. There's wounds on both sides. And I'm not saying that the side that has the power we should feel sorry for them or that they're wounded. And I'm not making excuses for them at all. I'm saying their wound is that they cannot have compassion. Their wound is they're in their power too much. And their wound is that they need to learn how to give up their power. If you don't think that's wounding them, you've got another thing coming. They feel wounded. They feel taken from. They feel disabused, right? That's their wound. I'm not on anybody's side here. I'm channeling. I just want to make it clear in case somebody thinks that we're coming at this in support of one group or another, because there is no, it's just describing the wounds. All these wounds are becoming more visible, and humans are struggling to work through them. They seem to be really, really just struggling, is all I can describe it, what they're showing me. It's a challenge, and humans are not being as activated to meet the challenge as I think these elders that I'm channeling would like to see. I feel like this is a heads up. I feel like this is a heads up to the viewers and to humanity that you're going to have your own personal wounds. Yes, there's wounds perhaps in your society, in your culture, maybe in your country or your city or state, or perhaps even in your family. But we want to talk about your personal wounds, because these other things can be seen as a distraction. If you, they're saying that you can feel like you're attending to your personal wound by overly being attracted to or working with a larger wound. So let's just say there's a larger wound going on in the world, and you're just so enthralled and incensed, and you're upset about it. And it's really just kind of even taking over a lot of your free time. It's making you feel down in the dumps. It's making you feel perhaps a little bit hopeless. So what's happened is your personal wound is getting expressed through the bigger wound. Does that make sense to you? You're feeling all those feelings about this bigger wound, but in reality, it's mirroring your personal wound. So if you find yourself watching this video and you're saying, I'm so upset about name anything, any war, any discrimination, any power quotient that's out of control, anything at all, does not matter. And you're so incensed, you're so upset. That is an invitation, the guides are saying, to look within yourself and find that wound that is triggered by this external wound. It is a mirror. They're showing you your own reaction to this outer terrible situation. War, poverty, racism, whatever it is. It's horrible. But if you're incensed and you're so just over the top upset about it, you're just so mad about it, you're like, oh, it just burns me. It's not as much about this as it is about you. Because in the end result, being upset about this injustice doesn't fix the injustice at all. Doesn't help anybody. Honestly, sad to say, it helps no one. You watching TV or listening to the radio or listening to me even and being incensed about some injustice doesn't help the injustice. It really, really does make you feel like you're not getting healed. No one is hearing you. No one is paying attention to you. The world isn't paying attention. Why isn't somebody doing something about that? We need to do something about this. Why isn't the world? Why isn't my city? Why isn't the town? Why aren't people? You're projecting your wound onto this bigger stage, and it's not helping anything. So if you really want to help, if you really want to be productive, and also you want to feel better, you want to feel healthier, you want to feel happy, you want to feel joy, You want to feel relief from this anxiety and stress. Then we invite you to, when you look around and just write down, well, that triggers me. I mean, I have it. I have it too. Believe me, I am not exempt. I'm a human. That triggers me. That makes me so mad. I know, because I know certain things that just trigger me and make me just boom, so upset. What is it? Is it injustice? Is it bullying? I mean, can you distill, a war? What is it about the war that upsets you so much? Because there are victims who are innocent, then write that down. Innocent victims, bullies, injustice. What kind of injustice? Any kind of injustice? Are you the kind of person that when you have an injustice, somebody double charges you on your bill? Ooh, that just makes you so upset. Other people, it's like, yeah, it's a mistake. I'm going to write it off. Other people are like, well, that's not right. I want this fixed. But they're emotionally neutral. Not everybody has the same trigger. What is triggering you about this external things that you're seeing? Write it down. Then that is your invitation to figure out and to ask and to kind of nose around or snoop, dig around as much as comfortable. Why does this make me uncomfortable? Why does injustice bother me so much? Well, I can promise you, you could pretty much just look to your childhood. Basically, anything that bothers you, the first place you're going to look is your childhood. Now, I'm telling you guys, because I do this for a living, and I've also experienced this myself. Some things are hidden. They're hidden from you. But if you can look at this wound, you can look at this injustice, whatever it is, whatever you wrote down, and you can find how it played out in your childhood, and you have awareness of that, then go back and talk to yourself, get therapy, find out how you can work through that. Because believe it or not, you thought, I dealt with that. Well, you didn't, because it's activated right now. It's just showing up in a different way for you to learn from. And the mistake comes in that, well, I was mistaken. I thought I worked through that, and then that's judgment, right? I thought I worked through that, oh my gosh, I did therapy, I did this, I did that. Yes, I've been there. But guess what? Our soul never stops growing. Therefore, it's never going to stop making mistakes. Therefore, it's never going to stop experiencing things that we thought we fixed, because that's growth. So if you've worked on something, some sort of situation from your childhood or situation from, whatever it is, you've worked on it, even from your past life, right? You've worked on it, you've released it. If it comes back again, it's coming back at a different level. Maybe you worked on it in a first grade level or a fifth grade level or a, whatever grade level. Well, now it's coming back to you at a much higher level. And it won't look the same. It'll look completely different. But underneath all the packaging, it'll be the same lesson, presented in a new way, perhaps at a higher level, just a different way for you to now learn it in a new way. We don't, if they're showing me, if we walk past a building every day, but we only walk past the front of it, we have no idea what's going on in the back of the building or the sides of the building. So really, to learn about that building, you need to kind of do a 360. And you might even need to go inside. And you might even need to go to the roof and see what the viewpoint is from the roof of that building. And these are how our lessons come to us. They don't just come to us. There's the front. Okay, I learned it. There's a pothole in front of the building, and I'm not going to step in it this time. I learned my lesson. No, because then there'll be a detour and you'll have to go to the side of the building where there will be another pothole that you're not expecting because you thought you already learned the pothole lesson. You didn't learn the side of the building pothole lesson. So these lessons are going to come all the way around. And forgiving ourselves, being compassionate with ourselves so that we can learn the lessons. So then we can move to the next lesson. Yeah, it's a school. There's always going to be lessons. But how you can make the lessons easier, how you can make the lessons quicker is very simple. Forgive yourself and have compassion for yourself. The faster you say, whoops, that was a mistake. Wow. That was a big mistake. That was a big one. Okay, now what? Now how do I fix this? Do I fix this? Do I apologize? What is my action step? Move from acknowledgement into action. Because a lot of times we make the mistake and we move into punishment. We move into self-judgment. My God, Susan, when are you going to learn, girlfriend? When are you going to learn, right? This is how I used to talk to myself. I used to be very self-critical of myself. And then I realized that's not helping me at all. It's not helping me at all. Didn't help me fix anything. It didn't help me fix any of the mistakes I made. And then a really nice bonus was when I stopped being so critical to myself, I was closer in vibration to my spirit guides, whom love me unconditionally. Unconditionally. They love us to make mistakes because it means we're learning something. You know, some of you guys get upset with me when the spirit guides say, my spirit guides love me, they would never let me make a mistake. That is wrong. That is wrong. Sometimes they hook you up with a mistake. They hook you up. They actually give you an opportunity. I've done videos about this, you guys, and I got really mad at my spirit guides. Really mad. Really, really mad. Because I was talking to them and I knew that not only my spirit guides, but all of my ancestors, all my family in heaven on the other side, they were all like, yeah, go, do it. I did it. And oh boy, was that a lesson, like a 2x4 upside the head. But as bad as the lesson was, it's 100% responsible for me talking to you today on this video. They're not lessons to punish you. They're lessons to help you grow. If kids were never allowed to fall down when they learn to walk, well, we would all be crawlers. We wouldn't be walking. If we could 100% avoid an auto accident, you know, if we said, I don't ever want to have an auto accident, so I'm not going to drive ever, because I don't want to make the mistake, or I don't want to be the other end of somebody else's mistake, we would never drive. Break it down. Look at your life. How many things do you do that fly in the face of, well, I've got to do it. Mistakes be damned. I've just got to do this. Well, you got to show up for work. You might make a mistake at work. Well, if we're afraid of making mistakes, then we're never going to go to work. Break it down for your brain. If you're afraid of doing something because you're afraid of what people are going to say or think or do because you're going to make a mistake, start telling yourself, okay, you know what? If I was really afraid of making mistakes, I would never apply for a job. I would never go to school. I would never buy a car because what if I buy the wrong car? How many decisions do you make, even on a daily basis, that could have potential for mistakes, but you do it anyway? You don't let those things stop you. So remind yourself of your track record. Well, I've gone 24 hours without making a mistake, so I think I can trust myself. Number one. Number two, how do I handle it when I make a mistake? This is what makes it all possible. All of your lessons, if you date and marry the wrong person? Well, the faster you figure that out, give yourself grace, give them grace, give the whole situation compassion, and allow yourself to have made a mistake, mea culpa. This relationship isn't working out for me, and here's why. Perhaps we can get some therapy, perhaps we can do some things to make it work better for me. But if those things don't work out, I have to say that I have to do the best thing for me. Right? You move through the lesson faster if you can own your mistake and you can give yourself grace and allow yourself to move through it. If you stay stuck and say, and this is what they're talking about humanity right now. If we stay stuck and say, nothing's ever going to get better, I'm never going to get out of this relationship, I'm never going to get out of this bad job, I'm never going to be able to buy a house, I'm never going to XYZ. Well, first of all, you have become the judge, jury, and executioner in your own life. You've decided for everybody else. You've decided for your spirit guides, your angels, you've decided for your ancestors. Nope, you can't help me. No one can help me. That's stuck. Why are you stuck like that? Because you're afraid to own the change. You're afraid to step out. You're afraid to put yourself out there and be successful. Maybe it's easier to just be a victim. Maybe it's easier to have a reason to say, I'm never going to get it because I'm afraid to ask for it. I'm afraid to put myself out there because what if I make a mistake? Maybe, that silly saying, the devil you know is better than the one you don't. I'm like, what? This is really negative thinking. And your spirit guides, even if they are setting you up with lessons, not all of them are bad. Some of them are beautiful. They're also helping you. They're also bringing you knowledge, aha moments. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. Don't ask me why I decided to change, to put in my name for a raise, for a promotion, for a new job, but I did. And now I'm making more money than ever. That's your guidance. If you say to anybody, I don't know why I did it, but I did, that's guidance. The lessons and the mistakes, the forgiveness, the compassion is all part of being human. And when we only take one part of it and say, I'm a victim, I'm not going to make mistakes because I'm not going to ever do that again. I'm never going to date again. I'm never going to marry again. I'm never going to do that again. You're not participating as a human in this human life. You're not allowing all of the amazing things that can happen to you to shape you, to help you, to add you, to help you grow. And I will just say this. I learned my lesson, truly learned my lesson about never saying never. Truly learned that lesson. To this day, if I'm with somebody that says, I will never, I wince. Sometimes I have an audible, because I know what's coming. You're no match for spirit. You're a human. You're no match. You have a written contract that said, I want to experience X, Y, Z. It could be, I want to experience being rich. I want to experience being poor. I want to experience living a long life. I want to experience betrayal. You're the one that made the thing. Don't be mad at everybody else. You chose it. You chose this. So let's just say, and because I literally, I've lived all of these things in this lifetime. Let's say I want to experience being betrayed. Now, why would you choose that? Again, I have this video coming up with Karen Willis, who talks about this. If you want to learn why do people choose these things, research near-death experiencers You can find them on YouTube. Research people that do past life regressions, that do look into books on life between lives, like Brian Weiss, because this is where you learn. This is where it starts to make sense. It starts to make sense. Okay, I get it. So let's say you wanted to experience betrayal. So what happens is you have betrayal, however that happens in your childhood, in your adulthood, doesn't matter. It's not just once. If you want to experience something, it doesn't mean you want to experience betrayal. It means you want to experience betrayal so that you can move past it and not allow it to ruin your day, ruin your life. You want to own it. So what happens is you don't have it just once. You have it twice. You have it 3 times. You have 4 times. When you have things that are patterns in your life, that is 100% a soul contract. 100%. Write down, what do I keep experiencing over and over again? And you'll learn that those are patterns. Where there's a pattern, there's a lesson to be learned. So how do you learn about betrayal? Why did I want to learn that? Because I promise you, more than likely, you had it in a past life, and your soul's like, I gotta fix this, right? Like I've experienced this before, and I really want to overcome my fear of being betrayed. Because if it's a lesson in your life, Spirit is bringing it to you. Here it is again. Would you like to learn about betrayal? You said you wanted to. It's not a punishment, you guys. It's an opportunity to say, man, I got betrayed again. Why does that keep happening to me? What can I do? What can I learn from this energy? What can I learn from this lesson? And the lesson is not to never trust anybody. That's not the lesson. That's the fallacy. That's where we get stuck. And if you say, there's the word again, if I'm never going to trust anybody again, Spirit won't bring you 4 betrayals. They'll bring you 20 betrayals. They'll bring you the biggest betrayal. They'll bring you a supersized version of betrayal because you want to learn the lesson. So the way to get through this is not to ignore it, is not to say, I'm never going to put myself in that position to experience that again. The way to get through it is to boldly march right into it. Okay, this betrayal lesson's coming again. I'm starting to see it. I'm going to say, okay, first of all, I'm going to learn about betrayal. I'm going to say, okay, this particular person doesn't deserve my trust. Not all of humanity, this person. And you know what? Because I'm in this little lesson right now, I'm going to try to understand the energy of betrayal. I'm going to try to understand when people show up in my life with that signature, I'm going to recognize them because I learned the lesson. And I'm going to say, no, thanks. I already learned that lesson. And they're going to go off to the next person. Once you learn the lesson, and I will say, you do have to learn it a few times. We talked about the building. You have to learn, the lesson is going to come around a few times. Okay. So don't think you're not learning it. You are learning it. But you're learning it at different levels. And I would say, usually you learn a lesson, I would say 2 times, sometimes 3 times. And by the second or third time, you're done. You're like, I got an A+ this time. I don't need to repeat that class. I really understand that I trust myself, that I'm not giving my power away, right? When you have betrayal, you gave your power away to that person, didn't you? I mean, you might say, well, what about love, Susan? I gave my love to them. Well, you did, but maybe you gave your love to them and you didn't keep any for yourself. You didn't keep any power, any love for yourself, because betrayal comes with its own little signature energy, which is this person starts to lie to you. Well, to people who don't have betrayal lessons, that's very obvious to them. And they're like, no, I don't think so. They break it off immediately. For those of us that have betrayal lessons, we don't see it. We don't see that red flag. We just keep on giving them extra chances. We keep on giving them our power, them our love, and they betray us. So the lesson might be to be in your own, again, what did they say? Have compassion for yourself, have love for yourself. Once you have passion and love for yourself, you're whole. Once you're whole, you're not going to experience those lessons of betrayal, of whatever might be along those lines. So it all starts here, not out there. And the guides have said this many times, right? We think, well, I can fix my child. I can fix my husband, my wife. I can fix my boss. I can fix this family. It's not about external. Again, back to the idea of what's outside is triggering you, but it's really pointing a big arrow to what's in here. It's the same thing. Same lesson. If your adult child or somebody in your family or your spouse is triggering you, it's not their problem. Honestly. I mean, that's a bold statement, but that's what they said. They said what they said. It's not their problem. It's your problem. Their part of that is theirs to deal with. If they're passive aggressive, or whatever it is that they're doing, they're lying, they're mean, they're narcissistic, they're depressed, whatever their problem is, it's their problem. It's not your problem. Your problem is that you're triggered to fix them. Because, again, an outside trigger is actually pointing back at you. So if you're fixing others all the time, that means you're trying to heal something that needs to be fixed in you, and you're hoping by fixing others, it's going to fix you. You're projecting the problem out. And you'll find people. If you got divorced and you never had kids and you moved to another country, you will find people. People will show up that bring you exactly the energy that you need to work on. Wherever you go, those people will show up because they're attracted to you, because your energy fits like two puzzle pieces. They want to be fixed. You want to fix. Boom. But the whole time, you're not getting anything. So you end up feeling taken advantage of. You end up feeling abused of your good nature, of your ability to help. And you start telling people, I don't mind helping people, but my God, can't they help themselves? Or I'm getting drained, or you end up becoming sick because you're giving, and you're never refilling. And when you get with a taker, which is what givers do, they're not givers, they're just takers. A healthier relationship would be giving and taking, giving and receiving. If you're not in relationships that are giving and receiving, that's not healthy. And it's time to maybe put those relationships a little further out while you work on yourself and you understand, I need to feed me. I need to take care of me. Which goes back to mistakes, because we don't do it. We don't help ourselves because we don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to, you know what it is? We don't want to find the mistake. We don't want to find the wound. The wound was too much for us to deal with. And wound is, for the purpose of this video, is analogous or similar to a mistake. That's part of the healing process. When you're a child, you blame yourself. No matter what happened externally, children blame themselves. If I was only prettier, if I was only smarter, if I was only more able to not talk back, if I was only more caring towards my parent, we don't know any better. We blame ourselves. That becomes a wound. And it requires compassion and self-love here, not there. Not compassion and self-love for your parent, not compassion and self-love for your spouse, your child, your workplace, society. We're all sending love and light to the world, but we're not sending any to ourselves. So Spirit would end this video by saying humans are evolving and these wounds are becoming more and more apparent to the degree that we're not going to be able to deny them. Now that can be a little bit, challenging because all of a sudden we are feeling our wounds. We're emotional or we're sad or we have these memories or we get readings and people tell us things that don't make any sense. Like, you have a problem with your mom, you have a problem with your dad. And no, I don't. I love them. They're perfect. Then it's hidden. If you don't know what the problem is, if you can't get, if you're seeing the patterns, but you can't understand why it's triggering you, it doesn't make any sense. Like literally, you're just like stumped. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's a really irritating place to be. It's hidden from you because you buried it so deeply. Your conscious mind said, nope, I need to grow up. I need to move on. And to be able to move on, I need to bury this so the light of day never sees it. I don't ever want to deal with this again. It's literally buried from your awareness. How do you get to those things? Is you get QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, which I don't do. But you can look up QHHT online and find a reputable, these people are certified. You can find somebody like that. You can find somebody, there's all kinds of healers out there but this has to be done on the subconscious level. You have to be either in a meditative state or in a hypnotic state. Now, if you say, I can't be hypnotized, I would say that falls in the never category. I would say that I would change that language to, I haven't found someone who could hypnotize me yet. Always leave room for spirit to solve your problems, you guys. Always leave room. So if you haven't found someone that's been able to hypnotize you yet, what I would do is I would just say in my mind or say out loud, hello, spirit guide team. Please bring me somebody that can help me. I'm ready. I'm ready to understand this hidden patterns, this hidden wound. I really want to get to the bottom of it, and I'm really ready to understand this. Can you please bring me somebody who can help me understand this better? I'll be on the lookout for your guidance. Now, the guidance can take a day, it can take an hour, it can take a week, sometimes it can take a month. So you might even forget about it. But the guidance can show up in all these different ways, right? It could be a friend who says, oh, I had a weird reading. I had a hypnotic reading. I had a hypnosis. I had a past life regression. And you're like, really? Tell me more about it. What happened, right? That's spirit doing that. Okay. Seeing somebody talk about it on a video, that could be spirit doing that. Having a YouTube, I have had this more often than you can even imagine. Out of the blue, some YouTube channel, some YouTube video will pop up in my stream. I'm not subscribed to them. I'm not even looking for this topic, but there it is. And honestly, not just once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, that's a message. If you say to yourself, golly, I keep seeing videos for this, right? That's guidance. Stop. watch the video, screenshot the video, write the video down, find a way to make a note. If you can't watch it right then and there, find a way to go back to it later. Spirit will help you. All you have to do is ask. And it's not a lesson. It's not a punishment. If you keep thinking that life is a punishment, if you keep thinking all of this is a punishment, then you're just going to get a lot of punishment. If you say, I've got what it takes to move through these lessons quickly, you can move through them as quick as you want. They don't have to last years, months, or days. You can move through them very quickly and move on. It's when we get stuck in the lesson because we're stubborn, we're stuck in victimhood, we're stuck in not being able to love ourselves or have compassion or grace for ourselves or feel that we're worthy of compassion and grace and worth. That's when it really is terrible, because you're stuck there. So have passion, compassion, and grace for yourself. You'll move through the lesson. Because when you love yourself, you have compassion, you have grace, you're matching your spirit guides' unconditional love for you. When you're down here and you're feeling terrible about yourself, it's a lot harder for them to talk to you. Not impossible. Never is it impossible. But it's a little bit harder for you to feel that message, get that message. When you start having compassion, love, self-respect, you're starting to come up here and it's a lot easier to get the guidance. Okay? Let me know what you thought of this video. I really appreciate you watching to the end. I have a playlist with a lot of videos, every kind of topic you can imagine, literally anything from crop circles to Sasquatch to past lives to soul contracts, you name it. I've done a video about it. It's like your own free spiritual library. I will leave the playlist right here. You can check it out and take really, really good care of yourselves. Okay. This is not a hard time, but it can be a challenging time. But it's here to teach us one thing: self-love, self-compassion, self-grace. Give yourself a break. That's the lesson. Just give yourself a break. And you'll see everything just go so much easier. Okay? I'll see you again next Wednesday.